and they pay me. The first one and last one up out of the building, cause what I've been building is crazy. This, that, hard work, my state built different. All day, it's go time. Yeah, we been on a mission. Better hope you ain't slacking when you run into me. Cause every day I check my back, we ready for war, so know it's convenient. Ain't gotta be ready if you stay ready. Ready and now, we coming for top spot, let's see. Through the highs, lows, in between, just gotta be steady. But you gotta know, it's one thing if you coming for me. Shit, all day, it's go time. I'm ready for war. Just know this, ain't no time. We came equipped heavy with more. All day, it's go time. I'm ready for war. Just know this, ain't no time. We came equipped heavy with more. Bet that I can't lose, and no. Came in blind and I was shining. Had to prove my growth. And now, look at me, undefeated, unbeaten. Don't believe it. Cause every day I check my back. We ready for war, so know it's convenient. Gotta be ready if you stay ready. Ready and now, we coming for top spot, let's see. Through the highs, lows, in between, just gotta be steady. But you gotta know, it's one thing if you coming for me. Shit, all day, it's go time. I'm ready for war. Just know this, ain't no time. We came equipped heavy with more. All day, it's go time. I'm ready for war. Just know this, ain't no time. We came equipped heavy with more. All day, it's go time. I'm ready for war. Just know this, ain't no time. We came equipped heavy with more. All day, it's go time. I'm ready for war. Just know this, ain't no time. We came equipped heavy with more. All day, it's go time. I'm ready for war. Just know this, ain't no time. We came equipped heavy with more.
Hey everybody, how you guys doing today? Let's see if the audio works. And it looks like the audio is working. Zach, welcome into the chat. How you doing? Baragon Productions, welcome into the live stream. How you guys doing today? Clips of the werewolf look sick. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I spent that was a whole year of my life just doing werewolves and monsters and stuff like that. That was a film that I made myself. Matthias, welcome into the chat. How you doing today? How you guys doing? Let's just see. Is the audio levels of everything good? The music sounds a little loud. One second. Let me fix that. We're going to turn that down a bit. It's probably a little too quiet now, but it doesn't really matter because this stream is not about the music. You have a hangover, so it's all good. I don't know if the hangover part is the part that makes it good, you know? Is that the part that makes it good? Dad jokes. Uh-oh. Starting out strong right now, guys. Why don't the mountains ever get lost? They always peek at the map. Well, that would be... that's a good one. Hey, how you doing, Orlando Caicedo? Welcome into the chat. How you guys doing today? So today we're going to do something a little different. I got permission from a freelance client of mine to share my work as I'm working on it, to stream it to you guys. So today we are going to be doing that. We have this one shot. I wanted to show you guys some of the kind of like the work in progress of how I'm going to go about working on this stuff. This is just a comp shot. We're going to be comping in a knife blade, like the tip of the knife, to this VFX shot, and I thought this would be a fun kind of thing to do together on stream today. You know, I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna go about it, but that's the journey of visual effects. Before I get started, I want to give a special shout out to these wonderful people right here, our Patreon subscribers here. All of these guys get all of the project files that we do on live streams, and they go over into the Patreon, so you guys can download everything over there, as well as surface imperfections and special stuff like that. So I want to give a special shout out to these wonderful people here. If you guys would like your name on that list, join the Patreon. Link to that is in the description. But other than that, we're gonna just get grinding today, start working. So is going to be a work stream? Yes. Today is more of a work stream than anything. I'm gonna be doing actual VFX. Not that we don't do actual VFX every week, but this week I figured, I was like, hey, you know what, it'd be kind of cool. I got permission from the director and producer, and he was like, yeah, it sounds pretty cool. He's like, there's no really, it's for a short film, so it's not like a super like private thing. So I was like, yeah, it might be fun to show a little bit about how we make the VFX on these types of stuff. I also get to show you my workflow on how I set up all of my shots, which is pretty similar to normal, but I want to show you guys some of the other stuff as well. So let's get started. Make sure to hit the like button below. Today's going to be a fun one. I'm going to first pull up, let's see, best way to go about this. So I use this website called Asana to keep track of all of my visual effects shots that I'm working on. Approved shots go over into like this approved column over here. And ones that are submitted for review go here. I think this is actually approved, so I'm going to move that over. And what I like to do, let's see, I don't even know if, yeah, I do actually import all the information on these, but what I like to do is I give thumbnails to every VFX shot that I'm working on. Asana is free, so you guys don't need to pay for it. It's an amazing like website. Now, you can upgrade to a pro version of Asana. So all that to say that there is a pro version of it that you can use, and it's got some great features. For instance, the dashboard, which I do not currently have here. It gives you statistics of like how many shots that you've worked on, so on and so forth. They don't sponsor me by any means. I just use them. I also use, because they have an API that you can connect to with Python. It allows you to create a lot of custom, like kind of proprietary software. It allows you to connect things. So I actually import all of the stills as well as the names of the VFX shots directly from the Google spreadsheet, which Google also has their own API, and so on and so forth. So if you think about things about the way that you can connect them together, sometimes it makes your life a lot easier by automating stuff and doing that. Now, today's shot is going to be this one. This is going to be the shot. So we're going to do work in progress. I'm going to move this over to our work in progress folder. And what we're doing here is we're going to be adding a knife tip through the hand, light peeking through the hand when the knife is pulled out, and add blood. That's our description of our VFX shot. So we're going to pull this up. And of course, we're going to be compositing inside of Nuke. You know, if you guys are doing your own comp work, you can use whatever software you prefer. For me, anyways, I like to do Nuke. This is actually a thing that I do want to add onto future. Is my stream paused? What's going on here? Everything just froze for a second. I didn't know if that was Nuke just like freeze my stream for a moment. That was creepy. Let's see, let's go to our full screen here, and I'm just going to set this up to 2-screen mode. So starting out, I do know that we're going to be working on this VFX shot, so I'm just going to copy the name of this, and then let's go find it. I like to keep things under, I guess it's not projects, it's videos, and then let's do Revolver. So this is how I kind of been organizing my stuff as of late for the folder structure. This is an ever-evolving method for organization. I've talked to a few different studios about what their recommendations are on naming of visual effects and like where things are located, so on and so forth. But this is kind of like where I am currently at. I will probably, continue to evolve this, and if I make any changes, then I'll probably at some point make a video on it, but this is where I'm currently at. With Asana website, can the rest of the team see your progress and make notes or something? Yes, actually Asana, you can share a project link with people so that way they can actually see where things are in progress. And then more importantly, so it's only half the battle, right? Like you don't really upload video files to Asana for review. Instead, and I'll show you this at the end of this stream because I'm going to go all the way through from beginning to end on a single VFX shot. Asana is mostly for, let's say, your internal team, right? So if I have a CG artist, Roto, whatever, they're all going to be inside of that Asana project location. And then it's actually really great for, I don't have a section for this, but let me add one, okay? So let's just do out, or vendor, right? Let me make this over here so that way you guys can see this a little bit easier. So I just added a vendor column, which, yeah, right here. And so I'm just going to actually move this column over to here. This is what I actually did. This is how I actually designed this for my day job, like at the visual effects studio that we work at. We actually use Asana, and then I also use it on my own time. Now, we have the paid version of Asana, but it's pretty much the same. You know, so anyways, if I wanted to, though, I could move a VFX shot to the vendor column, and then inside of here, I could tag different teammates inside of the actual thread. So I can leave notes in here and say, hey, blah, 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 I need a roto, you know, and I just type that into here, and then I can comment that, and that person would then be notified of that. I can also assign things to different members of my team, and then I can, you know, change the description, and I can do all of that stuff right here inside of the thread of this. So this is very useful for communicating, you know, with your team about what you need on a shot, and then getting that to be created. For us, however, I'm going to go back over here. Let's open up our Nuke comp. And once we have all the materials we need for our specific visual effects shots, you can find every VFX shot of this entire project inside of the 10 shots folder. Now, I have things organized with references. These are all the images based off of each one of the visual effects shots. Potentially references of, you know, like the project, what the look is, or like just general references for everything. And then 10 shots is where every single VFX shot is going to be located. And those are all labeled as, you know, the project name, VFX, and then the shot number. And that's just the way I like to have it. Inside of here, there's a certain amount of folders. The CDL, which is the color decision list, which is essentially the color choices of maybe like LUTs will probably go in here. Show LUTs, different things specific to shots. I like to have all of the show LUTs be copied into here if we do have a show LUT, so that way any type of visual effects shots that we're doing inside of the comp, we can see what the final image is going to look like. Our actual plate, or all of the plates associated with the shot, would be located inside of here. We did not have any BG and FG plates on this one, so we only actually had this here, this single, you know, reference. Elements, any elements associated with the shot, the reference of that shot, so if any still images associated with this specific shot that we want to have for reference, our assets folder, any match moves that we're outsourcing or doing internally on our team get placed inside of here. So I like to have everything as like Olympic files.abcs, and those go directly into our match move folder, so they can be imported into Nuke, Blender, Maya, Houdini, whatever 3D software we're working on. And then speaking of 3D, we have all of our 3D project files that go in here. Every output of our 3D goes into our 3D work folder, our 3D out folder. And then we have our comps, which again, this is for all of our Nuke comp scripts, will then just go inside of the comp folder. Pre-renders, which I'll show you in a few minutes. Any type of pre-renders that we do, including denoised versions, low-res versions of our plates, so on and so forth, would go under the pre-renders folder. And then output, this would be kind of just like an out of stuff going out to other internal teams. So not necessarily your actual out to clients, but an out to other internal teams. And then review files, which is kind of like temp folders, or temp video files, and that would go there. Puts my file naming convention to shame. I need to do a bit of a cleanup, at least on the Nuke side of things. Yeah, I think organization is really important, especially working with teams, because our teams will range from, you know, just me on a team all the way up to, you know, we could have 50, 60, 100 people working on a show, and they all need to know where everything is located with inside of that. So this is all of our 10 shots folder. We have from editorial, which, you know, anything that we receive from the editorial team would go here. We have LUTs, so show LUTs again would kind of get placed here. This would be like a general LUT, whereas the CDL inside of your 10 shots folder would be more for like specific shots. So if you're doing day for night, and then you had another person working on, let's say, base light, which is pretty common for us at the studio that I work at, is for the colorist to make a day for night shot directly inside of Baselight, which is a color grading software similar to DaVinci Resolve, but it's more focused on it's not more focused. It is only a color grading software, and it's actually really good. It's the best color grading program in the world. But it's also like $250,000 software. So it's not the same as DaVinci Resolve by any means, but it's a lot of what the big shows use. And so they'll use Baselight, and then they can output what's called a BLG file, a Baselight grade file. And that would allow you to import that directly into Nuke, because there's a plugin inside of Nuke. I could show you that at some point. I don't have that on this computer, but essentially what that is it allows you to have the regular plate, then place the BLG, which grades the shot, so you're not baking the color. So that way, if they ever make any changes to the BLG, they don't ever have to render out, more EXRs. We could even make those changes directly inside of Nuke. We don't actually ever have to re-request that from the colorist. Anyway, so that's our LUTs folder. Then we have general assets for the entire project. From the client, if the client has any specific notes or things that they want to give over to us, put that in there. General temp folders, and then our output comps, which would be the final renders that we send out to the DI facility, and then our general pipeline, which gets copy pasted over into every single one. Now, whew, that's a lot. Sorry, that's just a lot of let's get into the actual fun parts of actual visual effects. So this is just our we're going to import in our plates. Let's catch up on some of the your guys' things here. Usually name my work like 01 final, 01 final. No, don't do that. This is the good one. Dude, you can't do that. Man, love your tutorials. Thank you so much. By the way, I am new to this field and don't know how to prep for the studio. So can you make a video about that and what it's like in the studio? Absolutely. That the good thing to put on the list of things to do. But thanks, Thor. Thanks for coming into the chat. Hey, by the way, everybody, don't forget you could do the exclamation mark hello in the chat, and it'll give you guys a shout out inside of the chat. Cool. So the shot we're doing today is going to be this shot 50 inside of our folders here. So I'm just going to import that. We're going to find everything we need inside of this plates folder, and then we can just go ahead and start reading in this file. Now, this is a little dark over here, so I'm going to set it to Rec 709 because that's the proper way that we should be viewing this file. And this is our visual effects plate. So if I play through it, we could go ahead and see what our shot is. We already know what our requests are on this shot. The first thing is at the beginning of the shot, the knife is against her hand, but we don't see the blade on this side of the hand. And then when she pulls the knife out, we would expect to see some kind of highlight similar to this hand here, but against the palm there, because there should be a hole inside of her hand. So it's going to require us to do some different amount of effects throughout the shot. It's a decently complex shot, and we got to figure out what we're going to do here, guys. Well, first things first, we've got a whole empty Nuke comp, and that's not going to do us any good. We need to set up our project settings here. And as you can see, the first thing you need to do is hit the subscribe button. Thank you, the automated overlays right there. But the first thing we really need to do is set up our actual project. So I'm going to change our frame rate here to 23.966. Hope that YouTube won't flag this for graphic content warning. Nah, why would they do that? That wouldn't be any fun. I think I'm too small of a streamer for YouTube to even know that I even exist. Unless one of you guys report me, which I guess could happen. But I think all that would happen is I just wouldn't be able to monetize, which I currently can't anyways because I don't have enough watch hours on my YouTube channel. So, hey, they're just not able to advertise and make their own money off of my stuff. Alright, great. So we'll go ahead and set the frame rate here. Now, our color management is already set up inside of our project here, so we don't have to adjust anything as far as that's concerned. But now that we've got just our plate here, I need to do a few things. First, I created a plugin called Tool Sets, which allows me to import different types of tools into my comp here. First thing we're going to need to do is actually denoise this clip, alright? So I'm going to add in our denoise nodes. You don't have to do this, like, you could probably just, add these nodes in yourself. I just find myself in every single comp I ever do, adding in the exact same nodes every single time. So I created custom, imports essentially for that. This is using Neat Video. Definitely recommend it. If you guys don't use Neat Video, get on that. What we need to do is actually denoise our shot, because you'll notice that it's actually a pretty noisy shot, and when we start to comp in our knife as well as the hole here, we don't want it to stand out by not having the same noise pattern or no noise whatsoever. So we need to prepare a noise profile to first denoise our shot, so that way later we can regrain it. I'm just going to use the auto profile thing here and see what it finds. I'll hit apply. We'll go ahead and denoise our shot. You can notice it actually does a pretty decent job. I would say it's not great. It becomes a little chunky in areas. So we're going to actually prepare a different noise profile. I don't need to upgrade. No need to upgrade. Just apply that. It's a little better. Honestly, sometimes the stuff that is underexposed can be a little difficult to get exactly right, but it's a big difference. Look at that, guys. Okay, great. So now that we've got that, we're going to go ahead and denoise our shot here. Now, this is where things are getting a little... I could show you guys how this is going, just so that way you guys can see it. I already know what the project is, so I already set this up here. We're doing Rev 001. And then this is using what's called an expression inside of Nuke, and it'll basically place it inside of our folder. However, it's getting the name of where it should save it based off of the name of our NukeX script, which right now we don't have named at all. Okay, so we do actually have to name this. So let's go save this file right now. I'm just gonna copy paste our shot's name. If we go ahead and save this inside of our, oops, wrong folder. Probably go back actually to here, 10 shots. And then inside of the 50 folder, we're going to save this into our comps folder. I'm going to give it the same exact name, version 1. So that way we actually have a version number. Version numbers are great, by the way, guys. So every version that we ever give to the client, we will be versioning up our comps script folder. So that way we can always go back. Because I can't tell you how many times I've worked on visual effects and they been like, oh yeah, can you go back to version 3? And you're on like version 7 and you're like, oh my god, what did I have on version 3? It's only slightly unrelated, but did you work on the film with Morgan Freeman? I did. Yeah, I worked on a movie. Was interesting. I'll say that. It was interesting. Okay. Now, this is going to be taking this name here and saving it into the correct folder. It's going to actually be saving it inside of our pre-render folder, and I'll show you that in a second. So let's go ahead and just render this out. Yeah, I did, that one was called, The Minute You Wake Up Dead. I think that was the name of the film. I will say this. I worked on that whole film without ever watching it. I just knew Morgan Freeman was in it, and the VFX looked cool, and the film looked cool from a visual perspective. And I never heard it with audio, because when you're doing visual effects, you're working with EXR frames, no sound. And it was so funny. I went to the movie theater to watch that movie. And now, no offense to anybody that actually worked on this film. So if you know anybody that worked on it, sorry. But me and my brother watched that movie together in the theater, because it went to theaters. and it was at a really small kind of like rinky-dink theater in the city, and it was us two watching it with one other random guy, and we were watching the movie and we're like, holy shit, this is terrible, this movie's not good. And the other guy that was there, the movie started like 15 minutes late, so we were all just chatting, and he was like, why are you here? And I was like, oh, well, I did the visual effects on this movie. And he's like, oh, sweet. And after the movie is finished, he goes, well, hey, the visual effects were good. Yeah, the rest of the movie was ass. And then he just walks off. And I was like, oh my God, how embarrassing. But yeah, that was that film. I mean, I will say the name of the film, The Minute You Wake Up Dead, is such a cool name. The look of the film was so freaking good. But like, honestly, at the end, I was like, wow, I don't know. I just, there was just things in it that I was just like, whoa, this is definitely an indie film. I guess that happens, you know? All right, now our pre-render is finished. We're going to go ahead and import it. Now, what do we do with our imported pre-render? We have another tool set called default. So let's go ahead and load in our default. This is my standard nodes that I use every single time I'm comping. If I ever do anything more complex, like I have a specific shot, I will create a whole separate tool set for this. But this works for most of what I try to do. So first of which, we have our plate. We just drag that there. And then we have our degrain plate, which goes all the way to the very top. And this is where we're going to create our pre-render read node. So let's go ahead and bring that in. Denoise. Voila, we got it. So now we have a denoised version of our shot. Now let me tell you real quick what our comp is doing here and go down the line so that way you guys can really follow along what's happening. So I have a couple different dots here, but that's just to separate and make it easier. This is an invisible line that's going to this first dot, so everything I like to add, if I add a grade node here, then it's going to be grading after that denoise is comparing. And then, so what is this regrain doing? I'm using DOS grain, which is comparing the original plate with the grain against the degrained version of the plate. So that way I can analyze those two different plates and then create a noise sample that's going to regrain my comp at the end of the shot. And that whole reason is that way when we send it back, if you ever are working, well, you really should do this all the time, but a lot of times you're working with visual effects houses, they want the grain to be exactly perfect and match. And this is the best way to do it, is where you have a degrained version of your plate and a grained version of your plate. And then it analyzes the two and then gives you a perfect sample of what that grain looks like. After I do that, I then reapply the alpha, which I'm just using a shuffle here. I think Victor gave me a better way of doing this last week. I can't remember what he told me to do. I'll have to go check that out again, because I want to update my default here to do that instead. I believe it was some node. There was like an actual node for it. Then I crop it, and then I create a video export or an MXF export. Now, I'm using MXFs because, well, actually, I'm not even using MXFs on this one. I don't know why this doesn't just say EXR, but it should. This export right here, I'll just show you real quick. The way I have it set up is that the plate is here, the name of the film, the VFX shot number, the date that it's created, how many frames are inside of your sequence here, which you can set all that up inside of your project settings, by the way. And then, of course, my studio logo. This is great because it's dynamic to every shot. So if I ever version up this script, it'll actually update the version, and then it'll also update the name if I ever go to a different shot. Then with the EXRs, it's similar, but it's only going to export just the actual plate itself, not cropped whatsoever. So yeah, that's a pretty simple setup. I mean, there might be better ways or different ways that I might grow this in the future, but this is what I got. You got to take the compliment. Yeah, man, you're right. And I did take the compliment. So sometimes you just got to take the compliments when they come, because they don't always come. Not gonna lie. All right, now we have to probably track this hand. I'm gonna turn the brightness up just so I like to turn the brightness up while I'm doing tracking and things like this. It makes it a little easier to see everything. And then later we could turn the brightness back down, but this just makes it easier for me to know what I'm doing when I'm doing it. Okay. We might have a little bit of stuff to track here, especially with this hand. I'm thinking let's try this first. We're gonna put the blade in. Let's see. I know some of the shots I already did. I actually already have a blade. I might be able to use that same blade. So let's go find my. This is all live streams. I don't need live streams. If I go to revolver, and I believe shot 40. And as you can see, I actually have multiple versions inside of this comp folder, so makes that nice. Okay, let's just copy this. I have no clue. Just merge this back over top and see what we're dealing with here. We have this blade here. I knew I had hand painted this before, so I was like, might as well just use the previously hand painted shot. Essentially what this is just like a blade that I hand painted using a different shot that had a profile. This will work somewhat, but we're probably gonna need to recrop it. Let's just create an asset out of this real quick. Let's do that, reformat it. Add a well, let's do a corner pin first. Do a corner pin. And now that we actually have all of these, let's line this up. Probably need to adjust the grade and everything like that. But if we line this up, we might be able to get away with as much as we can, because that's my favorite thing ever, is just getting away with stuff. It's not 3D yet, but that's not going to be impossible to do. I feel like that lines up pretty nicely. And then we're only going to be using it on this side of the hand, so I'm not too concerned about this over here. Okay. And let's just double check this. We have our knife tip here. We want it sharp, guys. We only like sharp knives around here. What am I dealing with? Oh, that. I was like, there's something going on here. Like that, I guess. That's cool. I like that. Let's just make sure we're removing our additional matte key here. Cool. Oh, well, that actually makes sense. Let's do this all in the first frame. I don't know why I was doing it on, like, the middle of the sequence. What are you guys up to this week? How you doing? try to talk as like this is a little bit of a different stream because it's less of a, I guess, less of a tutorial. I mean, I guess it's a bit of a tutorial. I don't know. We're figuring this out as we're going along. So we're going to need this same 3D kind of like bluish effect that's going on at the top. We could do this by simply using the color picker there. And honestly, we might be able to, yeah, let's do it this way. Just hand paint some of this. I've been getting really into like hand painting shadows recently on like comps and stuff rather than like trying to do it via 3D. It's been kind of fun. Since we're using Roto to like really create that straight line, we don't have to worry about going off the top at all that much. I'm gonna use a bit of a black here and just trying to create more of a fringed edge. Currently playing around with DaVinci. Dude, DaVinci's great, man. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He edits in Avid, and I don't know, man. I went from Premiere to DaVinci Resolve, and I don't think I could ever go to Avid. I tried Avid. It's just, man, it's not a fun software, man. Okay, that's set to. Let's do that. We're just gonna grab some of this black here and really start to. I don't know where that blue is coming from. What's. I thought we were doing black. Been doing good. After the past weeks, I've been working on something quite different than I've been really made before Blender, and it's been challenging. Dude, share your progress. You over in the Discord already? You guys should be in the Discord if you're not. Here's a link to the Discord. Make sure to guys join and share some of your stuff you're working on. I'd love to see it. There we go. There's the black. Okay. So I want to create like a really edge of it, like darkened edge. You just joined a couple minutes ago. Welcome into the community. Oh, I like that. That like just adds a nice little extra darkened fringe around it. You're trying to change your ZBrush workflow, making figures for 3D printing to full Blender workflow for figures? Dude. So you're trying to do it in Blender instead. You know, one thing I always ran into, because I've done a couple 3D prints, and I don't know, it's a me problem. I know it's a me problem, but one thing that I was running into is the splining of Blender. I don't know how to like say, hey, just make everything visible. Like, I don't want holes in it, you know? Like, I don't know if there's something I just don't know, or well, obviously there's stuff I don't know. A dream of mine, man, is I want to make myself some, like, you know, collectible toys of films that I work on. So like that werewolf stuff you guys mentioned earlier, like that's actually one of my films that I directed last year. I would love to make you know, some, I don't know, action figures or something like that, something that you can have sit on your desk or whatever. That's so freaking cool. I mean, a buddy of mine works in the military, or not in the military, but he's an engineer, and I guess they do stuff for the military. And he gave me this for Christmas, which is like a 3D printed thing of something he worked on. I think that's so cool, you know? I want a freaking 3D printed werewolf of my werewolf from my film. That would be amazing. I also have like the first freelance job I ever did was a robot. I actually did like an action pose of it like this, with like its guns out and stuff like that. And I was like, man, it'd be so cool to 3D print. And that was the one I was talking to. I don't have a 3D printer myself. I was talking to my neighbor. I was like, dude, can you print this? And it was like this whole thing because it had holes everywhere. It was terrible. I was like, I can't wait till there's like an AI of like, hey, just take this 3D model I already have and make it 3D printable or something like that, because I do not have the skills to do that myself. And maybe the skill, maybe it's not that skills are hard, but it's just I don't know how to do it, and I don't want to learn either. That's looking pretty good. I like that blade, guys. By the way, this is all hand painted. I hand painted this blade. That's pretty nice. Okay, great. So we have this corner pin set up here. You're in the same position as me. There's a lot of things you still don't know how to do in Blender for 3D printing, and there isn't a lot of information on YouTube that works for me. I think that's the thing, is like not a lot of 3D printers use Blender. Is what I gather. I feel like a lot of the 3D printer YouTubers are more hobbyists in the sense that they don't create 3D models themselves. They make, well, they just print stuff. So then they print other people's stuff and things like that. So they show you how to convert like pre-existing printable files, but they're not exactly designing stuff. Oh, yeah. Water is good, guys. I think for this knife, we're going to want to track the blade here. See, her blade is moving all over the place. Luckily, her hand doesn't ever move that crazy much, but holy camoly, guys, this is going to be an intense one. I'm going to add in a tracker node here. Let's see what we can get out of this, all right? This is going to be wild. I'm going to do add track. And let's just try to get like a basic track first. Her hand snaps back so fast. Yeah. That's all good. Probably something like that. Honestly, at that point, well... Yeah, especially if they show how to make 3D printed things, they use ZBrush. Dude, I watched this whole, like, it was like a 4-hour long tutorial thing of this guy from Mattel who was showing how they made the Rey Skywalker toy action figure. And that's probably like the best thing I've seen online for how to make toys and such like that, printable toys from a design perspective. I'm gonna adjust for luminance. Honestly, that probably isn't gonna work. It drifts quite a bit. Though let's just see how it works exactly. So I don't like that. I don't like that tracker. Probably need something a little bit further up. We need this rotation, but we can't afford the drift because it's going to be too noticeable. Hey, Alexander, welcome to the chat. Oh, you could do a blood splatter effect as she takes the knife out and give that an extra bit of... Oh, 100%. We're going to do that for sure. We'll get there. We have a lot of other stuff to do before we get there. This is like one of those never-ending VFX shots, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Ajith, welcome into the chat. How you doing today? We're doing bloody things. We're doing bloody things. That's what we're doing. All right, let's do transforms, rotations, scales on all of this. And then let's just see how bad this is, okay? We're going to... well, we can always test this first. Sometimes what I like to do is just output like a stabilization node. And then if you stabilize it, you can just really see how bad it is. Let's set this as the out frame and then just render that. You know, low-key, this isn't terrible. Let's see how bad it is. The cool thing is it's through the hand, so maybe we can get away with stuff. Maybe we can. I don't know. Probably not. Let's output a match move baked. So that way we don't actually have to have the linked connection every single time. Especially if they show how to make 3D printed things, they use ZBrush. Yeah, and I think that's just because ZBrush probably has some tools made inside of it specifically for 3D printing. I don't know. And maybe that's just not a Blender thing. Blender can't do everything, guys. I mean, it can, but I'm going to merge this over top of a constant, and this is another thing that we're probably going to have to do here. Let's set up our project settings here to be 4K DCP, and then set that to the background. So that way our knife at 1000 is in the correct rasterization, and then we use the match move. We may not want it to jiggle, you know what I'm saying? Like, it might not be desirable for us to do that. But that is moving seemingly with the blade. Depends on, well, yeah, she's like really creating a hole in the hand there. Okay, so that's the first thing for tracking. I think that we're pretty good on that. But we need to chop off, like, we need to create like a line on the hand of where like the blade is coming from, and then it's going this direction. So this part of the hand needs to have like a roto on it that it can't do. You know what I'm saying? He's got it. We gotta make it so it looks like it's coming through the hand. It's probably gonna be the hardest question to answer. But is there a VFX shot from a movie that you would most want to replicate? Dude, you know which one I saw this year that I was like, holy crap, that's the coolest looking VFX shot I've ever seen? In the movie Alien Romulus, it's the ship crashing into the Saturn rings. Like, oh my god. For me, it would probably be the train crash scene from Hugo. Oh, that is a cool shot too. I'm just thinking of the one I saw this last year was from Alien Romulus, where the space station's going down into the rings, and it's just this epic wide shot, and there's just all these debris flying off and everything like that. Oh my goodness, it was just like it's a VFX beauty right there. And it's like, holy crap. The amount of layers that they had, or I don't even know, not even layers, because most of that's just 3D, but I'm just wondering how many layers they rendered out from the 3D to comp in the comp, or was it all comped inside of 3D when it was rendered out? I don't know. I want to know. This is things I need to know, guys. I'm going to use Mocha now. To use Mocha, go to the beginning here, launch it. You wish you'd seen the scene in theaters. I mean, seeing it on TV was great too, but damn. Yeah, I saw it in IMAX. Not to brag, but I saw it in IMAX. Not to brag. I'm bragging a little bit. Let's do this. Let's track it. I don't even know what I'm trying to get out of this, but, you know. Just using Mocha right now to... Probably don't need it at this point, so we don't really care. We're just trying to use Mocha right now to create a nice little roto for ourselves. Yeah, did they win? Well, I guess the Oscars hasn't happened yet. Is the Oscars today? Someone tell me, is the Oscars today? I don't ever watch the Oscars. Maybe we should be following along on that on stream today, just so that we can like be made aware. I just want to know best visual effects. Who'd that go to? Because I think the real toss-up for me, oh, well, Dune is probably up for Let's look it up. When is the Oscars? March 2nd, guys. When is March 2nd? Oh, so it's in 2 weeks from now? We'll have to do that on that stream, is figure out... Who are your guys' predictions for best visual effects? I want to know. Put it in the chat. How does that look? Okay, let's copy paste this. Do export data. Roto basics, copy to the clipboard. Let's paste it. I'll probably use this as a subtraction method. So we'll just merge this again with that. And let's do silhouette or stencil. See how this looks. It's so like you want it to be the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and it could be, but honestly, you think it might be go to Wicked. I haven't seen Wicked, so I can't say anything about whether or not I think it should or shouldn't be Wicked. But Dune, guys, Dune 2, like the VFX in that, right? What's nominated? Oscars best visual effects. What is it? Nominees. Give me the nominees, thank you. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Better Man. Oh, by the way, Better Man was also insane. Okay. Dune Part 2, Wicket, and Alien Romulus. I want them all to win. Can they all win? Holy crap. I will say I haven't seen Wicked, so I just don't know the VFX in that, so I can't speak to it. How does that, guys, look? It moves with the blade, and then now it's the hand. The reason why we had that here move with the hand when the blade is moving around is because she should be moving the blade. I don't like when it gets to there. Dune 2 or Planet of the Apes? I would probably agree with both those. I think it's like, here's the thing, guys. Dune 2 has so many amazing visual effects in it. Just like jaw-dropping, all right? It's just been also so long since it came out. It's just, I think that's the problem with Oscars sometimes, is that you think about the stuff that came out recently. Also, Planet of the Apes is just insanity. Like, they look so real. You forget that you're watching an entire CG movie. That's the wild part. It's kind of like Avatar, The Way of Water. That movie also was just like one of those things where you just forget that you're looking at CG people for like 3 hours straight. Yeah, that goes down. That's probably not great, but it is what it is. Chef's Kiss. The scene with the bridge and the water. What are we talking about? Are we yeah. In Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? I don't know, that whole movie, it wasn't like just like one scene that I think blew me away. I think it was just kind of like the whole movie in general. Okay, so now we do have this roto. What we could do is we could take this roto, use a transform node, and then let's just make that slightly that direction. If we then blur it quite a bit, I'm gonna move this whole thing down, I think. And then I want to add in a grade node here. Is that possible? And let's just darken that. That's just to give a little bit of ambient occlusion to the edge of our blade here, to the hand. Help blend everything in. Essentially all we're doing is just taking our exact same roto we have and then just, you know, moving it slightly down. Especially since it's moving at a different pace than the hand. think always that Weta goes the extra mile when it comes to VFX. They're like the neck and neck with ILM. Yeah. Well, okay, so Weta did... So King of the Planet of the Apes was Weta. Better Man was Weta. Alien Romulus was Weta, correct? Or was Alien Romulus Denag? Wicked probably... Who did Wicked? Well, because that's Universal Studios, so who would they have done it with? Potentially Denag? I don't know. And then Dune Part 2 is Warner Brothers. They would have done it with Denag. Right? Am I correct? I make good guesses on that? Okay, that's pretty good. I just don't like the bottom. So this has like this kind of like fringing on the bottom and this does not. So let's go ahead and fix that real quick. How does that look? We could just paint even more if we want. Oh my god, that looks terrible. That's my job, guys, is just to make things look as bad as I can. Hold on while you check. I'm holding, man. I'm holding. Yeah, that adds a nice little extra realism to it, guys. Woo! Once we add, like, blood in there, I think that'll be really the chef's kiss. And then the hand currently doesn't have any kind of, like, effect to it. So we're going to want to do that as well. What does a hand that's stabbed look like? Ugh. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Let's just launch this again. And we'll stabilize the shot. I think if we select this and then go to export data, we can do corner pin. Oh, this is actually just a corner pin. This might not be the best way to do this, though. Can we do that? Might even do like a constant. So that way it's painting from a constant. And then merge this here. And then let's see. We've got this. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Could just, I wanted it to be like a planar tracker almost that we're outputting, so that way you could use the relative. I don't know if with Mocha you can do that, where you output the planar tracker. The real question is, what did you want to get nominated as an Oscar that didn't get nominated as an Oscar? New power mesh to tracker data. Tracker data. Nuke. ASCII. I've never done this one. I know I don't want tracker data. That's not... I guess this isn't it either. I was going to say, there is an option of what we could do. I kind of want to do this anyways, because I think that it'll work really well for the blood. So let's add in a. Oh my gosh, why is my brain going blank? A smart vector. Yeah, there we go. Do a smart vector. It is 4K, which is a little unfortunate, but we'll make the detail set to like 0.9. Strength being 1.5 is totally fine. We'll use an export right node. And then we're going to save this into our pre-render folder just like we had previously. But this is going to be called Smart Vector. I'm just going to give it a good frame range. Go ahead and render this out. Yeah, what would I want nominated? Or what would I want to win? Do they have, so they have the nominees. They've got King of the Planet of the Apes. Do they say what scene it's for, or do they just do the Varieties 2025 visual effects predictions? We've got Oscar predictions, visual effects, Dune 2 and the King of the Planet of the Apes, battle in close race. How do we know it's a close race? Is there like a live vote count or something like that going on, like the presidential race? Variety Awards circuit section in the home for all news related content throughout the year, featuring the following official predictions of the upcoming Oscars, Emmys, Grammys, Tommys, awards. I can't read it. Best visual effects commentary. The King of the Planet of the Apes won Top Visual Effects Society Award for. Oh, that's right. The VES was like this week, wasn't it? For outstanding visual effects and photoreal feature at the 23rd Features Awards. Yet on Tuesday, Beverly Hilton, the Society spreads the Wealth Common Award, 3 trophies, the most in live action, Dune Part 2. So they're saying King of the Planet of the Apes. The BAFTA Awards coming up on Friday. The results could strongly indicate the Oscar voters may indeed. Do they just follow the other like awards ceremonies? They go, it won over there, so it should win here because they were obviously right. The key factor is whether or not the film nominated for Best Picture. This year, the only 2 visual effects nominees, Dune Part 2 and Wicked, are also Best Picture nominees. Historically, there are only one instance for a non-Best Picture nominee winning over Best Picture nominees. Ex Machina in 2015. In the past, close race. Interesting. Alien Romulus is ILM, Better Man is Weta, Planet of the Apes is Weta, and I think Wicked might be ILM too, but I'm not sure. I mean, we could also check, right? Like, go to their Instagram accounts. I bet you they're posting about it. Okay, our smart vectors are done, which means that we could do vector distort. I like to do a nice solid vector distort every now and then, you know what I'm saying? And then we're going to use this from our smart vector data. And then let's just test this by putting in a Rotopaint node, source it, merge it, back on top. You could do something a little more complicated than this, but just for testing purposes, I like to sometimes just throw a nice hand paint down. And let's just see how this plays. The nice thing about using smart vectors is that you really don't have to track anything later. It just works. You don't have to be like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want to track this, or I need the rotation and the scale of this. It's like it kind of just works. But it works really well for this type of thing where you have like a hand that you want to put something on top of. Okay. I think we're taking like frame 12 and using that as our reference frame, so yeah, that's why I needed to load. Well, that's looking pretty solid, I'm not gonna lie. Now we just need to paint on some gore on this hand. How hard is it to paint some gore? Yeah, it's using frame 110 as its reference for everything. So we're not going to be using this roto paint. We're going to be comping something else. Actually, well, let's keep this on for a moment. just remove that. Go back to where the blade is. And let's just hand paint it here. I mean, we could go do AI and stuff like that, but why make our life easier? Life being easy's no fun. Use a constant, and probably after the fact use a shuffle with another constant. Set that value to a 1. And rechange the alpha there. Oh, that's right. Am I an idiot or something? Let's pre-multiply that to RGBA. What is the best way to do this? Oh, you know what? I'm overthinking it. I'm overthinking it. That's what's going on. We just need this section of the hand. And then, maybe this right here could just come from that. So now all of this, let's see, set that to none. There we go. And then this right here, we just set to auto alpha. Perfect. So now all I need to do is paint in some gore. How hard is that? Probably using something close to black. And let's do that. Remove the distortion for right now. There we go. Now we don't quite want black. We're probably gonna want it to match the redness of everything else. So let's get that in there. Let's just paint in some of that. It's pretty solid as a starting base of where that is. And I like to just like sample colors as I'm going because you never know what you're gonna want. So let's do that. Try to get some highlights in there from this fleshiness. Probably blurring as I'm going. I don't know, guys. I just make it up as I'm going along. Probably use something a little bit darker now, and then... Oops. I'm going to set the opacity here to a 0.1. Help blend things a little bit more. Just get myself some dead skin that we're just kind of like smudging in there, and then if we then can just blur that slightly, just change the opacity of this to something a little smaller. The real trick here is to not be terribly consistent, you know, just trying some different things here. Just getting some highlights that we can add in. Oh, yeah. That's looking better, guys. I like to zoom in and out. Just allows me to really see where I'm going with stuff sometimes. Maybe not quite too much. Just get some distorted skin around that. Maybe not too much. Just blend that in a little bit more. Yeah, I was watching the VES. I actually are any of you guys in the VES? I actually just applied to join. I don't know why I didn't do that before, but I just tried joining the VES. I applied like about a month ago, so hopefully we'll know somewhat soonish. Oh, that looks pretty sweet. I like that. Whoopsies. Let's try to do something similar down there. Trying to infiltrate the VES, baby. Yeah, I don't know if my... Is that... Are we going somewhere with this? Are we actually making progress right now? I think we are. Just add a little bit of like discoloration around it, like that. Maybe a little bit of like dirt griminess. Let's get some of that in there. I like that. A bit of red. A bit darker red. Let's get some of that in there. And let's kind of blur a little bit of those a little as well. Sometimes with these things, I never know if they're getting better or worse. Oh, it's just... Okay, cool. So that... It's just adding in this line here. Again, this is all about layers, so hopefully... Oh yeah, that is already... Okay, great. Let's see how this plays back. Then we'll have to comp in some blood on top of it. You gotta go now, unfortunately, but you can catch the next stream. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining. Make sure to hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already. And I look forward to seeing some of your stuff over on the Discord now that you joined it. Really excited to see what you are working on. But have a good one. Thanks for dropping in. Don't feel super connected yet. We'll say the knife. I'm kind of feeling. I'm getting the vibes. But, yeah, before we do the corner pin, the crop, let's add another row of paint. And let's go ahead and select kind of like this red here. And this one, let's change the, instead of over, let's do like a multiply. Plus overlay. Just trying to get that maybe, and then let's just plus it up a little bit with some red. Use another plus. Just kind of like adding in some dark blood here. Cool. Otherwise, it just didn't feel like... Felt like I was missing a little bit of that, you know what I'm saying? So... I should win an Oscar for this, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, guys? This is Oscar worthy, right? I think it is. It's totally Oscar worthy. Let's look at some assets now. We probably need to comp some blood in. Some blood, baby. See my downloads. So I'm going to use Action VFX. Beautiful sponsor for the YouTube channel. So if you guys don't use these guys, make sure to go check them out. But probably using something from this like Bleeding Wounds. See that as being nice. Something bloody. Some bloody. Ooh. Ooh la la. So there's the arm. We can go down the arm, by the way. So we do have that. Just not as, like this is the slit we want. Oh, I got an idea. Let's download this one. What do you think are the parameters for an Oscar-winning VFX? The company or... It's a good question. I would probably say it's certainly the eyeballs that see it. But, you know, here's the thing. It might have something to do with the company because obviously there are only certain companies that are going to be working at a certain level. Although Best Visual Effects last year went to Godzilla -1, and that was like a team of 15 people, company no one had ever heard of. Like they just did that for that film. You know, I don't know. I forget what they were up against, you know, as far as shots, so or shows. So I can't remember if I was like a huge fan or not. I will say I remember in my head thinking that it was like while the VFX were good, I didn't think they were like crazy. And so I don't know. I don't know if that was just because it was like this kind of like cultural revolution of like, wow, it's insane how like such a small company did such big VFX. Or I can't remember if it was, I don't remember. I have to go back and look to see. Yeah, actually I could just pull it up. 1 second. Let's save this real quick into our assets folder. Isn't it here? Godzilla -1. Okay. That's right. I had a problem with this. Look at this list, guys. Look at this list. Not saying Godzilla -1 wasn't the craziest, you know, for 15 people to do visual effects on. But are we giving an award because a small amount of people were able to do, you know, a big film? and it worked? Or are we giving awards away for actually the best visual effects of the year? If it's actually the best visual effects of the year, and that's what we're awarding is the best quality visual effects, the not revolution, but like the pushing the boundaries of what's possible in visual effects. If that is what we're giving awards to, then it should have been Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Hell, it could have been Napoleon or The Creator. Probably not Mission Impossible. But these three right here push the boundaries of quality, pipelines, standards, you name it. That's what these three movies did. Guardians of the Galaxy, holy shit, guys. You haven't seen that one, check it out. Like, oh my god. Rocket Raccoon in that was real, okay? So are we giving visual effects away for quality? Or are we giving it away for, not participation, but like, oh wow, you guys did it with such a small group of people? Because if that's the case, then, I mean, I know people, including myself, that have done things with just one person for an entire show. Or, you know, such a small team of people. But those people we don't get awards, and I would never expect those types of shows to get awards. So that's why Godzilla Minus One, I didn't think the visual effects in it were insane. I thought the visual effects in it were, like, pretty good, you know, but I wasn't blown away by it. That's just my opinion, and, you know, I've gotten a lot of flack in the last year for saying that, but up against, like, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is pretty insane to me. Pretty insane. Let's see, smart. I'm going to import this small gash real quick, and then we're going to multiply that back over here. So while we did some paint work, I do think this would do us well for this on top of it. So as far as the parameters of an Oscar-winning VFX, I don't know. It really depends. Like, what do you guys think? What do you think is what makes a visual effects shot Oscar winning? I could tell you, for me, Oscar winning means the best kind of like groundbreaking changing of visual effects that there is in the industry. And to me, sometimes that doesn't exactly align with what the winner was, specifically last year. This year, if we're taking what we took last year, it's like, what's up for grabs this year? We've got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Wicked, and Alien Romulus. None of those are small teams of people. All of those are massive, thousands of people working on the movie, and, you know, groups of people. And that, it doesn't align with the small mindset of, hey, these guys did it with like 2 lollipops and like a prayer, you know. I mean, I don't know, that's just, it doesn't align with last year's model of what best visual effects were, because in my opinion, last year the best visual effects was not the best of not the best in the sense of like quality wise. Let's go to frame 10 here. Try to align this up. And actually, I found most of the time I was having a conversation with people about it, they would kind of feel like almost insulted by that concept, that it wasn't the best visual effects from quality perspective. And they'd be like, well, it was really good. And I'm like, I'm not saying it wasn't good. I'm saying that it just wasn't better than the other competition that was out there. New screen. Let's do multiply. And then just brighten this up a little bit. Okay. Play that back. Play that back now. But I don't know. What do you guys think makes an Oscar qualifying visual effects shot? I think it's a little different than like acting, because like sometimes it's very clear sometimes with acting where it's like, oh wow, that performance was just mind blowing. Best picture kind of makes sense because, or well, does it? I don't actually know what makes the film, what makes anything win an Oscar, right? Like what makes it best picture? What makes it the best acting? You know, that's something I'm kind of curious about. I like adding this ZD focus in here. It just kind of like blurs things in a nice way that the regular blur doesn't do. How does that look, guys? That looks like it's blending pretty nicely. It's so hard to see it when you turn off the boost of the f-stops, guys. For you guys that are just joining, this is where we start it, and then this is where we're at. You know, we're adding all of this in as VFX. We're just trying to add this knife in as a continuation of the knife that's already there. And then when she pulls it out, we're going to need to potentially, actually, let's just see how this flows. I'm sure this blade's gonna like not work. But I just want to know where this thing goes. The blade's just floating in midair. Yeah, I used to think like the best visual effects shot in Oscars really just kind of meant like the continuation of innovation in the industry, because VFX is, I feel like it's a very clear like, oh, it's not so subjective as it is what changed the industry, what has changed pipelines and the way in which we do stuff. I think nowadays it's a little harder because that doesn't exactly exist. Drop. Wow, pulls it out. Oh man, that's good. We just need the blood coming down the hand now. I think it's less clear cut of what best visual effects is, because nowadays there's not too many things that are innovating the industry. Though the few movies that you do get where you have like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, where you've got these lifelike apes in them, or the first Dune where they were using subframe, motion blur on those helicopter things. Or nowadays, like this year we've got Better Man with like the main character throughout the entire film just being like an ape. That's just crazy. Alien Romulus, the effects they did in that were also just insane. So, I mean, I don't know, like, is that what we're counting as what makes a best visual effects shot? I probably need to add some kind of motion blur into this. And then let's take this. And here's what I want to do. Let's take this match move here, and we're going to set a keyframe. Let's turn off that for a second. Probably keyframe. We're going to add another transform in here to fix things. Gotta fix stuff. For you in VFX, it should be complexity of the scene plus the level of reality achieved. At this point, the VFX is not noticeable. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of like the hard part, right? Is like, it's not like VFX nowadays is in most movies that are competing. It's not like they're actually that different from each other, right? All of them are competing at the same level. Okay, let's bring that back now. And honestly, at this point, probably is completely gone because you can't see it at all. I am going to add this keyframe in there just for our sake. And then I'm going to turn on motion blur. I don't have motion blur on this either, so I probably should turn it on. We'll need to blend that a little better, but just like to hear. Let's disable that for a second. Now we're going to use these roto layers. Oh, probably not. Let's just add in another one. Why not? Let's do that. And then we gotta fix this. Just for like one frame. Not that big of a deal. Don't concern yourself. We just need to make sure that the luminance value matches. Yeah, I think that's a fair... The complexity of the scene, the level of reality. Yeah, I think that works. I mean, as far as like a good judge for VFX, especially nowadays, because I think it used to be the innovation of visual effects, and it was just like a really clear cut, like, yeah, that was more innovating, so that should win an award because it really pushed the boundaries of visual effects. But nowadays, I don't know how many things are really changing the boundaries of visual effects because, you know, the boundaries have already been pushed, right? Like, am I wrong in saying that? I don't know. Like, it seems like the boundaries have already been pushed so far that it's really hard to change them. Like, unless you're watching, like, Avatar: The Way of Water. When that came out, the characters with the hair, with the wetness, and the bubbles, and the water, and, like, all of that stuff was just so incredibly pushing the boundaries of visual effects. I really think the only thing that's left to, like, really push the boundaries is fire. I think fire still is, like, one of those types of VFX that is still kind of noticeable unless you're comping in real fire. So I'm excited to see how the Avatar, the next one, they always seem to be pushing the boundaries more and more with these movies. Guys, look at that. That's pretty solid. I will say, not a lot of motion blur happening here. I should add some kind of motion blur, right? Let's do that. And then that hopefully will fix part of that problem. And then we need to add some kind of a light on the inside of this, especially after the blade is completely out. Because you see how much highlight is on her skin here? We almost want to have that same amount of highlight coming through the hole inside of the hand. You need to have something in there in order for it to feel both a wet specularity as well as just like it is a hole that she's creating inside of the hand from the blade. Probably remove it on that one frame. I don't like it being on that one frame. It goes down one. Like right there, I don't like that. Easy fix. It's just one frame. And that motion blur really helps. I would say we probably now want to have some blood kind of coming down the hand here. So let's look at some more assets inside of our Action VFX library that we have. We've got this, probably something more like, I like this maybe. might be a little too much blood streaming. Let's go with this one actually. Throat slit. Yeah, it's the quality of the blood that we want is from a throat slit, guys. Yeah, if I don't get this, if this live stream doesn't get it doesn't get like yelled at from YouTube, YouTube's things might be messed up. I don't know. I did say it wasn't made for kids, okay? Not my fault. Looking pretty solid so far, guys. Let's see, we got that downloaded already. Let's go ahead and load it in. Set that as output 709. I'm going to use an offset right now. Like... Okay, so here's the distortion. We're probably going to want to merge this here. Place this like somewhere right there. So they're like 950. The other thing to keep in mind is that the knife should have been in her hand for a bit, right? So like maybe like 920. Yeah, like that. Next up is probably grade node. Maybe also doing a different distortion. I'm thinking that's probably the move here. Let's actually merge this directly onto its own layer using a different distortion node with the smart vectors coming from there. Let's see what this looks like. And I might want to do, let's do geometric. Or actually maybe a multiply. Use a multiply with another merge node and then merge that back over top of our footage. A little better. Okay. Probably a ZD focus. I might also want to use a grid warp. I sometimes like to do this just because it allows me to wait, what the heck? Where's this grid warp at? Remove that, and then before the transform? Yeah, what the heck? Okay, and then let's just make it so that it goes down the hand a little bit more. Like that could be good. Again, this is coming from a small source, so we might want to make that a little smaller there. And then, of course, we'll want to re-enable our other merge just so we could see where everything's kind of coming from. But let's just adjust this grid warp a little bit more to line things up a little better. Okay, now with this vector distort, I'm not going to do a hold frame. Let's just see how that plays back. Might need to add some motion blur onto it afterwards. Maybe a little defocus, a little more defocus, I don't know. It certainly doesn't have any motion blur right now, which is slightly problematic, but we can always add some of that in there. Wow. Smart vectors, man. They are pretty awesome. It's just take a little bit of time to render sometimes. This is another part of it where we might want to pre-render this, so that way we don't have to something that is already complete, we don't have to continue to render over and over and over again, which we will be doing with this bloodstain. The reason I didn't do that with the hand is because I do want to make some changes to the hand momentarily. How does that look? That looks pretty sweet. Let's add some motion blur in. I'm gonna stop trying to play this. We're gonna add some motion blur in, and then let's go ahead and render this out. I'm gonna go to frame 10 again. It blends pretty nicely on the hands, guys. Liquid on stuff can sometimes be a little tricky. Render this out, RGBA, and then let's put this inside of our our pre-render folder. And I'm gonna call this Blood 2, because this is technically Blood 2. I'm gonna copy that, and then let's just Blood 2 1 2 3 4.exrs. I like me some EXRs. Fills up my computer's storage space, but I love them. I love it. We just have to add a highlight on the inside of this when the blade gets pulled out. It shouldn't be too difficult. We already have kind of like this jagged edge that we created, so we just have to move that over, lift up the highlights a little bit, match it to something similar to this, and then that just keyframes in, so it's not that crazy. And then the only other thing, honestly, on this shot that we're really adding in is kind of like a little bit of a blood splatter or something after the knife gets pulled out. The reason why we render this out is so that way we don't have to calculate the motion blur or the vector distort on every single frame. We're just going to be merging this over top of our footage as its own like layer, as you will. I like doing assets this way because it makes it a lot easier later. You guys can buy all these assets, by the way, over on the Action VFX website. Go grab them. Tell them I sent you. Okay, let's go ahead and import this now. So if we swap this out, it should look no different. Hit Auto Alpha just in case. And let's see, let's disable that just to play everything back. As you'll notice, everything plays so quickly now. This is perfect. This is why I love Vector Distort, man. Oh, it's great. Beautiful. Okay. Let's re-enable the rest of our scar there. And then, of course, our knife there. Pretty sweet. That all plays back really nicely. I'm going to go ahead and just crop this while we're at it. We don't need to have too big of a bounding box for something we're not even seeing. Okay. Now, let's see what the best way to do this is. We currently have the rest of our hand kind of getting brought in here. With a multiply there, probably could just paint in our highlight. Let's go to frame 10 real quick. And I like all of this. Can we take it with a transform node, use a grade node, using that's alpha, and if we take the merge of this guy, subtract it from this guy, and that's our alpha there, what does that give us? We boost the highlights here, or yeah, there we go. I have no clue. Trying to see if there's a way. Let's I thought this was going over top of everything. Oh, is that just multiplying over top of this guy? And then we should probably merge it back over top of that, right? Is that what we're thinking here? Probably. So we get the source there. A little hard to see. So let's just focus on this layer here. Take the roto paint. And let's just paint in some highlights, I think. Frame is this doing it on 10? Okay. Do that and change the blending mode over to like a plus, and then change the opacity slightly. So let's change the opacity here to like a 0.1, do a plus on this, and then maybe we can get some interesting effects going on here. So okay. Maybe blur that a little bit. And this could just be I still think I probably should erase more of this, right? Let's use the eraser. Set that to like a 0.01 and then remove a decent chunk of it. Interesting. And then blur that. Just trying to like add in small like highlights in areas. So this would then just be boosted to like more of like a real highlight like that guy. And then I'll change the hardness around here to like a 0, and then just blur that out slightly. Guys, if you think I know what I'm doing, then you would be squarely wrong. Okay? I'm making this up as I'm going along. Trying to retain some kind of texture as it's going about this. How's that look? Looks like the inside is almost glowing, but we'll see how it plays out. Okay, so there's this. This whole thing is acting like a hold frame, so maybe we don't want to do it on this specific distortion. Yeah. Let's do this over the multiply. We'll say, I guess we don't need the hold frame. Let's do that. And then all of these guys, we're gonna say, what frame do we want that to come in on? Let's do all frames for right now. And then when she pulls the knife out, it's like roughly like right here, right? So from 26 to the end. So frame to end, select that. Learning while doing, dude, that's my daily life. So then that adds the highlight in at that point. See how that looks? We can always render it out. Yeah, we might want to... maybe boost it more, I don't know. But let's go to the end of the sequence here. Maybe. Maybe. I'm not in love with it, so we may want to not. Yeah, I don't know. We might not want it to be boosted quite as much, but we might want it to be boosted. I like to have some of the red in there, but it's not highlighted from this side. Okay. Oh, that's why. Okay, so what we need to do is have this as a frame hold. Then that's multiplied. It's like, where's this coming from? I don't understand what's coming from. Okay, great. There's your hand. And then when it goes to the end, perfect. We'll say it kind of moves upwards, so we probably want to adjust for that, which we can, by the way. Let's use a transform node in here. It's probably good from there. Let's just keep jumping around in frames till we find where it's off, and then we're gonna offset it. So let's do set keyframe, and then when we go out of the blur, you should be down a little further. Yeah, that's working perfect for us. We don't want it to go. It's got to stay right there. Fantastic. That's where sometimes like the smart vectors just doesn't quite work perfect. Is things like that. It just looks like it's... I'm not a fan of this. Just not a fan. We'll have to figure out something else because that's not working. It's just not working, guys. Let's call this Blood 1. And then render out this version here. We'll render that out so that way we don't have to keep rendering over and over or using the vector distort stuff. I mean, we already did it once. We don't need to do it a bunch of more times. Keeps things clean and fast inside of your comp. If we ever need to make any other changes, all we ever have to do is hit the render EXRs and just render over top of it. I don't see a reason to keep versions of pre-renders because you can always just re-render the EXRs from before. That's my normal recommendation for that kind of stuff. Okay, let's see, let's finish that up. Perfect. Bring in Blood 1 and then just replace this now with that. Keep auto alpha on just in case. So yeah, now we're just using that and this. Just try to keep this a little more organized here, guys. Beautiful. Okay, let's play back this now in its entirety. Now we do have to comp some kind of light in there because I already talked to the director about it and I pitched the idea of doing that. So we're gonna need to do something, whatever that might be. Whatever that might be, we will do it. I have an idea. I have an idea. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an idea. We'll just play this back, see how it looks in its entirety first. But I'm thinking, instead of us trying to hand paint it, let's just use something we already have. We already have this stuff. Let's just use that. You know what I'm saying? It's looking pretty good so far. Any notes? You guys have notes? Notes. What do you guys think? Just stretching. Because, I don't know. This week, man, I'm just, feel like I'm getting the cramp. Like, I gotta work out again. I gotta get back into working out. I think that's what it is. Any notes, please? Just tell me what I'm doing wrong. Oh my gosh, I'm just knocking things over. I'm knocking stuff over as I'm going here. Okay. Take that as a good sign. None of you guys have any notes for me. Well, moving on to the next thing. I'm thinking what we do is we take some of the highlights from like here, probably when it's in focus. Let's see, that hand there. No notes from you. Let's go. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Do we like this not highlighted section or this mega highlighted section? I'm thinking not so highlighted. Let's try this. Let's do a frame hold. Okay. Greetings to the Caribbean. Well, hey, welcome to the chat, Val Arts. Glad you're here. How are you doing today? I've been to the Caribbean once. Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? Please tell me how you guys say it. I got in a huge argument with a friend that it's not Caribbean, it's Caribbean. Or is it Caribbean? Caribbean? Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? The only thing I saw is that when she pulls the knife out, the blood recedes. Oh, well then let's check it. We'll do that. But yeah, am I right? Love your work, Connor. Thank you so much, Val Arts. I appreciate that. But tell me, am I right or wrong? Okay, we're gonna use this part of her hand. Okay. Do RGBA on that. And let's blur this guy. Was it a friendly argument? Yeah, it was a friendly argument. But I was like, I'm fairly certain it's Caribbean. And they were like, no, it's not. And then they looked on Google, and Google said it could be either way. And I was like, my whole worldview was just shattered. Because I was always told since I was a kid, because everyone always would say, oh man, the movie Pirates of the Caribbean. And that's how everyone would say it. And then be like, oh no, that's not how you say it. And so I didn't know. I then was like, oh, well then I'm going to try to say things proper. You know, the proper way of saying it. And so that was that whole discussion, basically. Yes, it was a friendly banter, okay? Nothing serious. But I just want to know, what is the proper way of saying Caribbean? Please tell me. I'm gonna just clean this up a little bit so that way I can add more layers here in peace. If we hide the inputs of that, we can actually just place all this stuff to the side and then make ourselves like a separate box. So we'll do that. There we go. The ship of the Caribbean is now wrecked on our shores. The Pearl. What? That's a movie, man. It's not real. Or did they make a real one? Is that a real... It's a true story? I'll believe anything, please. Let me live my dream. By the way, you want to talk about some jaw-dropping visual effects. Holy crap. Pirates of the Caribbean was just like ahead of its time with their visual effects for like Davy Jones and all of that. Insanity. Okay, we need to widen this guy or something. I don't know. Pearl from the Pirates of the Caribbean. Are you purposely avoiding my question? Okay, let's try and multiply. Let's see what that does for us. I've seen those memes too where it's like, hey, you could just go get like a pirate ship with like 20 people or something like that, and then just like live like whole year for like, it's, I don't even know how expensive they said it was going to be or something like that. And I'm like, wow, you know, the thing is I get seasick so easy. I found this out because I'm actually certified in scuba diving. And when I got my normal certification for scuba diving, I just did shore dives in Catalina, which is here in California. And you just basically walk into the water. That's all you had to do. But then when I got my advanced certification, you had to, you actually had to do shore dives, but then you also had to do boat dives. And when I did the boat dives, dude, I got so seasick, ridiculously seasick. And that's when I found out that I get seasick. David Jones VFX was and still is amazing. Yeah, it's insanely jaw-dropping. And the fact that it was made in like the 2000s is also just insanity. Let's just remove that for a second. What do we got here? We got... Am I wrong in thinking that this was a good idea? Maybe... Is that not... Let's try that. Let's try that. With the blur. With the crop in the correct location. Probably have to redo the reformat, won't I? Gosh darn it. Okay. So now if we take this corner pin, I just need to set it up a little more correct. Beautiful. So now she should have a hole in their hand. I have no clue if that's going to look good. Probably not. Let's be real. It's probably not going to look good. But that's what we're here for, baby. Okay, so we're going to use Smart Vector. Let's do... or Vector Distort. We're using this frame. And set Smart Vectors to that. Gorgeous. And then we're just going to plus that over top of that. We only need this last bit. What frame does that start at? 26? See how that looks. Pearl from the Pirates of the Caribbean. Let's look this up. Did you do any tracking or object tracking for this shot? No, we mostly did... Well, we did a little bit of tracking for the blade. And then I used smart vectors for everything that's on the hand as far as the blood is concerned. Yeah, so as far as like tracking goes, it's a mixture of everything. You know how it is. You know how it is. And then we're going to need this to be after the blood, because it's got a plus on top of the blood. Let's see how everything goes here. Not feeling super confident on that. Here's what we're gonna do. Instead of using that grade note, I actually have a really cool idea. Let's Yeah. Let's use this. We'll set the white point to that. Okay. That's perfect. And then we set the black point to that. Okay. Now, let's set the lift here. What's the darkest spot of this? That. And then let's set the gain to, and we'll adjust this, of course, this. Okay. So now, when we go back over here, that should swap everything from kind of like the blue to like more of like a highlight of the red. Then we can change this gain value here if we pull up that. Might actually probably just grab another grade node at this point and then boost that, bring that down. It kind of just creates more of a the highlight section. I might even just change this to overlay. And maybe screen, actually. Yeah. And then take the grade node, and then all we have to do is then just bring down the average color. Which maybe instead of using a grade node, let's use a color correct. Change the shadows on this to a little bit lower. Beautiful. Now you've got yourself a mark highlight. Where are you from, Connor? The U.S., right? How's the VFX industry right now? Yeah, I'm in the U.S. I'm in California, and as far as the VFX industry, I was having a conversation the other day. I went to one of those mixers, and I think that we're kind of starting to pick up speed again. I don't know. It's hard to tell. The industry has been pretty bad for a while, so it's hard to tell whether or not we are actually picking up speed right now. But you can hope. Let's erase that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see how things start to move this year, but it's been slow for a very long time. Okay, let's push this all the way down to here, and then now we're adding a highlight to over top of our blood that we already have. So let's see, we're gonna save that, and then let's play it back, see how that looks. Which we don't need the highlight here because we will have the blade in. But when that pulls out, we add that highlight in, and then it now adds a little bit more 3Dism to it. Did you add me into the house? Dude, of course I did. You saw that. You also changed your YouTube name. Or profile picture, I can't remember. It's a little blurry with that highlight, though I think that actually kind of works. I'm fine with the blood changing the thickness, though. I know you mentioned that a little bit earlier, but I actually think that kind of works, Orlando. Because of the handshake. Okay, let's keep it. I'm gonna render out, let's see. Let's copy our, one of these. Let's render out this vector distort as blood 3 into our pre-renders folder. And that way we don't have to re-render and all that. Well, welcome back, Lil Hacka. Ugh. I use these times to stretch. You know, kind of the worst part is that I only ever grab one of these before I start streaming. And so right now I really want water. And I talk way too much. Wow, is it still calculating the render? What is going on here? Well, this is a good time for you guys to hit the like button below and make sure you're subscribed. We're almost at 2.5 thousand subscribers, guys. Absolute insanity. Absolutely. Insanity to the absolute. To think that, like, last year I was under 500 is kind of crazy. Okay, that's rendered out. We grab it. And we place it right here. Now, yeah, I did have our GPA selected. Good. Good. Just do it. This is like Emperor Palpatine was always really just a Nike. He had a Nike sponsorship, so that's why he was like, "Do it, just do it." Anakin, he was like, Anakin's like, what? Was that the Nike commercial? Were you just giving me a Nike commercial? So now it gives like a bit of a highlight there. I don't know. Is that enough of a highlight? Is that weird? I don't know. Personally, if I had a knife in my hand and someone just pulled it out, I don't know that I would just keep it there. That's just me, though. I'd be like, ah! Like almost immediately. I gotta add blood now in because it feels a little fake now just because there's no blood. Oh. Like a blood splatter. A splatter of blood. Just a spickle, a spickle, a splatter, a spickle, a splatter of blood. Something that gives it that, you know, beautiful ja, you know? Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. We got some weird severed neck stuff over here, okay? We'll get to that. We'll get to that. That might actually be the only blood splatter assets that I own right now. I gotta eventually use these boom mic ones that they filmed. That's hilarious. You rewatch the live and you don't see you in the house? I swore I added you. That was so long ago, though. It was last summer, wasn't it? Let's see. We got these blood splatters here. What's inside of it? The bleeding wounds is more like just like liquid dripping. That's like hitting the wall, hitting walls, more wall hitting. This is more like 4 months ago. Feels like an eternity. I have it Quentin Tarantino where like it's just like blood just starts going out of the hand. Okay, that's actually pretty close to what I want. Well, how have you been, little hacker? You been doing good? I haven't seen you in 4 months then. Almost like that. I just want it like a single burst. They got a single burst? Yeah, we'll do this one, and then I'll just roto it. We're gonna roto it manually. I think that's the move. Okay, so right about here, We bring in the blood, baby. Oh, by the way, guys, I saw those guys that do like the boom challenge thing where they say how many booms something has. By the way, they stole that. That's freaking from a movie, okay? Alright. It's called Here Comes the Boom. Good movie. Can't be stealing stuff like that and posting it on TikTok, getting famous for it, and you not giving any credit. That's not cool. Alright, so that's good. Let's use an offset right now. You give that 5 big booms? Boom! 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 Yeah, I know. It's honestly super cringe, but you know, you do you, boo-boo, I guess. Let's add the blood in. Where you at right now? We got ya right there. Let's just tick this back, okay? We've got I want the initial splatter. And I don't know. Let's actually invert this. Scale it to -1 width. There we go. Then you take this guy. Probably line it up somehow. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Like that. It's so hot, though. Look at that. That's hot as heck, man. Oh, it's because we're bringing everything up. Probably say... Let's select this as our blood color. So if we set the white point right now, keep black point the same, but let's go ahead and set the highlights of this thing right here. What did I mean by that? What? I'm not following along in chat. What's going on? How about you? Question mark. I give that 5 big booms. LOL. Boom. Yes. Ayo. What did you mean by that? You said that was hot. Oh, it's just really like it's really bright, which just means that's hot. Probably gonna set it to the same brightness as this, so let's use the gain of this or something. Let's probably do that one. Nah, you're not getting out of that. Hey, I mean, you can look it up, man. I don't have to defend myself on this. It's like an actual filmmaking term, so... You're not getting out of it, Connor. You said it was hot. I don't know, man. Yeah, I got my own taste and stuff, alright? Alright? As just in time, Streamlabs is like, give this video a like and subscribe if you enjoy the stream. It's like, oh man. Oh man. Let's use this guy here. I'm going to use the same frame range probably. So we'll set the frame range here to that. That'll make everything a little bit easier when previewing it. Also going to merge this over a constant. That way I can actually see what I'm doing. You mean it's hot to get stabbed? I don't know, man. That's up to you. You're the one that said that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Now you're adding words there, which makes me kind of consider you might be projecting here, buddy, and that's a little concerning. You know, something's standing out a little bit right now. Are you projecting there, son? I mean, hey, I don't judge. I'm not out here trying to judge you or anything, but no. Let's add another tracker in. We need to track the hand, which we weren't doing before. But now we need to, okay? Just track that. I don't even know what that is. Just track that. Boom, boom, baby. Nope, it didn't track. Hey, I'm not gonna judge though. You like it? I mean, it's not that I even know where you live, but you know, maybe it's legal there or something that I don't know about. But sounds a little Army Hammer. Not gonna lie. It's a deep cut ref if you guys know who Army Hammer is, because he got kind of canceled for that. But you know, who's counting? Oh, come on. What's going on here? Okay, let's delete that track, add another track, let's try that again, and then I'm just going to make it try to track the whole wound. Boost that, change the settings to, yep, that's good, and then let's go and try tracking that. You said you had your own taste and stuff? Wait, what? What did I say? Clip it! I dare you. I don't know. I say you have your own taste. I'm not here to judge you on your own proclivities, okay? It's not my place to judge you, alright? You're the one out here saying that you thought it was hot. Your projection, man. All seriousness, stabbing is not okay. You should probably put a disclaimer on the video for that. You're the one, hey dude, you're the one that said it, not me. You're the one projecting it. And I never, you know, I never said it, but you went down the path that I wouldn't have gone down. And that's just, you know, kind of my opinion that I wouldn't have done that, but you know. Just, yeah, I'm just here just trying to entertain. And you said you have a taste in that stuff. Wait, I have a taste in that stuff. Okay, I don't remember ever saying that. Okay, these tracker nodes here, I'm going to then output, let's do stabilized baked. And then we'll go ahead and apply that to this here. And since it's already being placed under this with this constant, that will already have the correct resolution for what we need. So now, let's just play this back and see what we've got going on. What the heck? It's just not the right angle. So since it's not at the right angle, it just feels like a little... It doesn't feel correct. It's got to be more like a downward angle, I think. Oh, that's probably good. Sideways, limb 1. This stuff's always a little, like, I feel like I never have the right type of blood for what I need when I'm comping these kinds of things. Oh wait, what frame am I supposed to be on here? Let's do 1025. You said, you know, I have my own taste and stuff, you know. Wait, alright. I gotta figure it. Ben, you're watching the video later. Tell me what I said. I'm confused now. You got me confused, alright? So, let's place this here. I just need to rotate it. Oh, whoops. We'll rotate it. Not skew it. To about right there. Line them up as best I can. Let's go and just check that out. And then let's just change the offset now, I think. Honestly, it's a little slow. So would we do that after time offset? No, probably before that. Let's change this to a retime. Make it twice as fast. Go to 1025, and then let's just adjust our offset again. Let's find... Where's the beginning of this? What is going on? Like, retime. Oh. I'm just... Okay. That's fine. So then we go to the time offset. We go to here. And then we change our time offset to... probably about right here. And then let's just play that back. A lot of blood, dude. Okay, let's merge that back in. Go back to 1025, which is our first frame. That's correct already. Change the grading. Hopefully that's a little closer to what we want. And let's merge this, right? So let's change that keyframe there. Set that to 0. And then now when that pulls out... We should... Oh, that's using stabilize. That's our problem. Let's just invert it. It's probably the easiest thing to do. Beautiful, dude. We're so close. Okay, so then we just set our keyframes. Actually, I'll just do this after. So we'll set our keyframes. Here to... There's correct, but I'm probably just going to adjust it ever so slightly. And there, probably bring that back a little bit more. A little more. probably turn it off at that point. Probably need to blur this to it because that has its own. That looks pretty sweet. Okay. See how that plays now. I might also, before we do any of that, go into the top here. And then let's just use a merge node and a roto node. I'm just probably going to get rid of everything that's just like the circle section thingy of the blood. If I use the stencil, that'll probably, or yeah, stencil, we can erase it a little bit easier. So that way when the blood's coming out, we're not overlaying other stuff that's there. And then for our stabilization, we need to set the motion blur to that, as well as our other motion blur that we have here. Should help with everything. You got me red-handed? I don't know, man. I don't know. For the blood that's coming out, let's go to retime here. Let's change the filter here to probably nearest, or let's also change the amount of shutter speed to 0.5, and box is fine. So let's go and just play that back, see how that looks. You gotta go? Alright, well hey, thanks for dropping in. Make sure to hit the like button before you leave. Okay, let's play that back, see how that blood splatter looks, and we might want to add a couple little drops of blood on the other side of the hand as well, since the knife is getting pulled out on that other side. Already did? Well, hey, thanks man, I appreciate that. It honestly might be too much blood that's coming out. There's the blood. I almost feel like that's all the blood that should be coming out. But then it does like this second wave of blood that's coming out. It's too comical. So let's do this. This frame here, we'll set a keyframe. And then the next keyframe here, we'll just have it turn off. It's like too much blood. No, I'm boosting the exposure right now so I can see everything as I'm working on it. Up here. I guess you can't really see that on the screen. But I am boosting the exposure just so I could see everything. Dude, that is like the perfect amount of blood right there. I love it. It's a little too fast, maybe. No, maybe I'm like, I might be splitting hairs here. Am I splitting hairs for saying that's like, I don't know, it's like a little too fast. Like, I'm not even saying by much. So our retime here is doing it at 2. It should probably be like 1.75. And then this, just need to get rid of these keyframes here. So if I do delete key, and then do the same thing here. So set keyframe and then remove the keyframe. It's only like a few extra frames long, but that way the blood doesn't feel like it's like too quick. Like it just should feel more natural. Yeah, that looks so much better. It's just that little extra couple frames, really. I could foresee one of his notes being that the knife feels too... I am tracking her hand here and then placing the knife on the other side of the hand based off of the movement of her rotating. But because... could be a little too obvious at that point that the tip is just kind of it doesn't look like it's floating, but it looks like it could be floating. So that might be something we need to consider. Let's we have this blood here. Let's offset it so when she pulls the knife out, like right here, I actually want the same exact blood, so that way everything is the same. Okay. Let's do transform. Let's delete that. I'm just gonna copy paste this real quick, and then we do that, this, no animation, that with that, this goes here, and then let's just try this real quick. We're not doing the same transform, stabilize, or match move that we were doing before. I just want... Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks for watching, Yoel. Hoping you're getting some stuff out of it. It's entertaining to some extent. Okay, the offset that we have, we actually probably want to do a different offset. We're going to do a few frames earlier. So the blood's kind of coming right there. And we'll have to do our own roto of the hand. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll set the keyframes. And then we just kind of... go upwards on that. Okay. And then that kind of like goes out there, I think. So, set the keyframe and then go out. And then the first frame is right here. Let's set the keyframe as in and out. Perfect. So now it's kind of like, we'll have to roto that part where the hand is again, but just like to add some blood to the other side. Pretty close. I do think this needs to be positioned more like this. It's all pretty good. I'll need motion blur as well. What is that crap? Ugh. There's this time offset. It's this retime, dude. I'm telling you, it doesn't look super nice. We'll do nearest frame. That's probably going to... We'll add motion blur ourselves. We don't need motion blur from that. Also, that like amount of focus compared to everything else does not match. So I'm going to add in a nice little ZD focus. Let's set it to bladed. And let's just increase the amount of ZD focus here because it's going to be past this hand. Probably something like that. I like that. And it's all pretty sweet. Now I just need the actual hand rotoed. Let's just get another playback with the ZD focus being correct now. Might change the blood splatter to be the more angular going down type thing, especially since it is a different angle at which the blood should be flying out at. Maybe more noticeable. This is the part of the show where I ask how you guys are doing. Because we're just caching stuff right now. And we know how that is. I want a better computer that plays back faster. That's cool. I don't like the ending on it, but it's like that part's really strong. And then it just like disappears. I think that like this keyframe from here on out, let's just change it to fade out. how would that look? It's less jarring. Now I just need to get rid of it on the hand. Easy fix, not gonna lie. Let's add another merge node in, and this time we're just gonna add a roto, and we're just gonna stencil out exactly what we want to get rid of. Okay, guys. So let's set that to stencil. Set this to RGBA, and then we just need to follow along the areas in which the hand is. So easy enough. Just go to this frame and select the areas in which the hand exists. This can be a little difficult to do, but the blood is only going to be kind of right here for the most part, so we just need to follow along that section. And just do that for a few frames. You have a little bit of creative liberty. As long as the blood doesn't exist over the hand anywhere, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be super clean because, I mean, it's just blood and it's only a few frames long, so don't get caught in the weeds on it. It's like if you're doing roto for, I always hate it doing jobs of roto for other people. But if it's for you, it's kind of more preferable because I know where the dead bodies lie and I know where to hide things. It's my shot. So it's like I know what I need. But if you're doing roto for someone else, I've done jobs where I had to do roto for other people, and it's a little more frustrating because you have to do good roto everywhere because you don't know exactly what they're trying to comp in or any of that stuff. Whereas for me, if I don't roto this side of the hand, I know I don't need it. And then if later the client's like, oh, I want blood over there, then it's like, okay, well then I'll just do that. I'll add roto in for that side of the hand. But for the most part, I know what the client needs because I'm the one that's doing the shot. It's where it's like, I feel for the roto people out there, guys. I feel for you. I'm not a roto guy. I don't have that kind of patience. I actually almost want to ask sometimes them to teach me their ways. Just not my strong suit for sure. I'm just trying to clean up these in between frames. They're shaking so much on this that it's hard to know. Sure that we got this side completely taken care of. Do the same for that. Do the same for this. Welcome to Connor's Roto live stream, where the topic of today is roto. Oh, how long does this blood last for? Almost done, actually. We're almost there. We're almost there, guys. That's it. I think that's it. Okay. Okay, that's set to RGBA, which then means that it's stenciling out the blood in those specific areas. If I go back to here, we can see the blood being added. Let's merge that back over top of everything. Beautiful. So the blood's on the other side of the hand. Let's just test that out. See how it looks. Save your progress, everybody. Make sure you hit that save button. Because that is the golden rule of life. Is to make sure that you are hitting the save button. She's got that crazy look in her eye, man. Crazy look in her eye. Blood. There's the blood. It's not quite working. Let's find a different blood splatter. But at least the roto's done now. Oh, just that angle. It's just too much blood. Maybe part of that. Right? More like angled, I guess, upwards. Big oh, that's cool. That's diagonal limb 4. I know that I used, or I had, yeah, that's this guy right here. I might want to copy paste my grade. Let's copy the retime as well and just see what we can get out of that. Where he exists, there he is. Yeah, where's that at? First of all, it's inverted in the wrong direction. Does that mean I have to redo this? That would suck. Yeah, let's try that. So there's this is the blood. And then let's do the time offset here to be so at 1025 to about right here. Let's do that. And then we do the retime on this to be about double speed. That's fine. It's just not quite exactly what I want. I want it to feel like the knife just got pulled out, and then you just get that like quick. Like really quick. I'd like that, but if the read time was like 4 or something crazy, I mean, I don't know. Scrubbing to find that perfect spot, man. Like this. Okay, let's delete that as well. It's a lot of blood, but maybe that's the right amount. So let's go here. Let's add a transform node in. Let's scale this bad boy up. And yeah. This is without any defocus on it, but let's just see how it works. Well, got me some Skittles, dude. This will give me some energy. Press the rainbow. Okay. Yeah, baby. Okay, let's see how that plays back now. That's just blood flying on the other side. I might need to fix some of the roto now that we have blood going more directions than we were before. Dang, this caching gets long after when you start doing all this crap. Need to probably give myself some more room here. Yeah. That all works pretty good. We just need to probably have... That just continued to there. Probably want to blur this so that way any edges that we are creating is not as noticeable. Let's go to the end of the shot. Just kind of fixing up a lot of these edges here. That way we don't have any roto issues. Real clean edges, baby. That's what we're going for. Beautiful. Okay. It's looking good. To be completely honest, you can't really see that when we turn off the boosted exposure. Everything is just so dang dark. But we're going to take that and then we're going to merge that actually over top of the rest of our image. So that should be blood back there. Doesn't really matter if this blood's in front. I don't think it matters anyways. Probably should, just for sake of like actual correct process. The blood behind it should go first. So let's just move that up. I think we're fine with this constant here. Could probably just duplicate the constant. Okay. Slowly but surely getting there, ladies and gentlemen. Mostly gentlemen. I look at my demographic analytics. But to you 1% of females that are watching, to you as well. Lady and gentlemen. Okay, so that is looking pretty solid. Let's look at this. This is our image, guys. Probably pretty close to being done. This is the original plate, and then we comped in some blood. Go ahead and watch the whole tutorial if you guys haven't watched it already. From the very beginning, I'll show you guys how to take it from looking like this all the way to comping in the rest of the knife, as well as some blood down the wrist here. Yes, we are boosting the exposure right now, just so that way we can see everything. But one thing we need to do now is add in our grain. This is the original grain of the plate that we denoised it to do the rest of our comping. So I like to use DOS grain. That's going to give us a really nice replacement grain. I'm just going to reactivate it. We use this to analyze the differences of grain. Probably do that. So yeah, so now if we do this, we should be able to see that our grain matches pretty closely. It's obviously going to be different, but it's matching pretty closely. It's a decent amount of grain in there. Probably make sure this crop is set correctly. And then yeah, let's just check this out with the correct framing. Again, we're actually chopping out the top and bottom. So, you know, any blood going down that wrist or that arm too far, we're really not seeing all that much. Let's just cache this back so that way we can see what it looks like. A real quick reminder, if you guys haven't already, make sure to hit that like button below. It helps YouTube algorithm to know that you guys liked it, and also maybe recommends it to other people. We have a Discord. If you guys want, you guys should make sure to join that Discord. Here is the link to the Discord. Would love to see what you guys are working on. This shot right here is actually a VFX freelance shot that I was hired to do, because I do freelance every now and then. So that director allowed me to do a live stream of it today. If you guys actually need any freelance stuff, feel free to reach out. I have a decent amount of availability, so I can maybe fit you guys in. If you guys want to see it on live, that would be cool too. But let's see. Wow, this is taking forever to cache. Just not a fan of... Oh, is my stream actually completely frozen? I don't know. I know my browser's frozen up here, so I don't even know if it's still running. Hopefully we're still running. Yeah, it's my browser's running. I think my computer's running out of memory. That might be part of the problem. Who knew that these things were so graphics intensive? Let's just focus on the correct screen. Wow, this is really freezing up. I think I'm running out of GPU memory. That's what's going on right now. I'm going to pause the cache. Okay, go up to cache. I'm going to clear all cache. We're on the verge of crashing. That's what's about to happen. Cool thing is that I save like every 2 seconds. So make sure to be part of that every 2 second save game, guys. So let's do that. Yeah, everything is frozen. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do cache, clear all cache. Everything's deleted now. Fantastic. Probably delete Discord. It's that way I don't have extra stuff going on right now. I don't see why it really isn't that intensive of a shot, guys. Like, I mean, come on. Okay, so actually that looks... I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. I'm going to go ahead and then we'll render this out. We need to render this out. Probably preview the render before we upload it. I just want to be able to... I like to watch it. I do like to see what I do before I post it to the client. But I wanted to show you guys the upload process and like what that looks like. I use Frame.io for VFX reviewing. The process is essentially rendering out your clips, and then you can upload them to here. Anything approved gets inside of the approved folder. And this is just a really great way of organizing your visual effects shots and allowing clients to leave notes directly on your videos. You can actually leave notes directly on the video on Frame.io and the specific frame number in which you want it to be. So that's really great about it. And then, of course, I mentioned this already, but I use Asana, and the reason why I use Asana is to keep track of like what's in work in progress, and then if I'm about to submit this, then I can just drag this over to the submission column. Really useful, and my whole computer is just completely frozen right now. But very useful. Yeah, I can't even grab this Asana task. It's pretty great. But it's very useful for keeping track of all of your visual effect shots, especially if you're having hundreds of visual effect shots. Very nice to be able to keep things organized that way. I'm going to just close all my tabs here. I do not know why my computer is acting up as bad as it is right now. This is actually excessively bad. I may just actually have to end the stream. But, I mean, we did the whole visual effect shot. I was just really hoping to play it back, but this is, like, tremendous, guys. I don't know what to tell me. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's just frozen. It's funny, too, because I pre-rendered everything that I would have thought was the complicated parts of the shots. Like the, all of the smart vectors and stuff like that. Like, we're not actually doing any of that right now. I have no clue why it's frozen so bad. It's always, you know, the other thing is my computer is constantly running out of space. Oh, no, it's not that. Just always running out of space. Oopsies. Probably shouldn't have done it that way. 1 second, guys. Oh my god. There we go. Is that good? I don't know. I've got me up there now. I'm just going to end the stream here, guys, but really appreciate you guys watching today as we were working on this visual effects shot. I really wanted to get this to render out so that way we could watch it together, but my computer's acting up. I probably need to restart it. I don't know. But I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I can at least show this screen here while we have this up. But I want to show you guys what we came from for any of you guys who just joined. This was the original plate, and then this was the final comped version of the shot. So we basically comped in this knife as well as the blood, and then also comped in some nice shadows and things like that onto the knife, of course. And then when the knife gets pulled out, we added some nice little blood splatter effects and things like that. So this was a little bit more of an advanced visual effects shot than, you know, we've done in the past, but I wanted to do something like this because, you know, also because it's an actual job that I'm working on right now. But the director was like, hey, yeah, you can do that on stream. So I was really happy I could show you guys some of the workflow and process of doing this. I used DaVinci Resolve to create all the visual effects plates and things like that. I do want to, real quick, again, thank all of our wonderful Patreon subscribers right here. If you guys would like to join the Patreon, you guys get access to all live stream project files that we do and everything like that. So you guys can do whatever you want with it. I don't know if I can share these plates, but I certainly can put up the project files themselves. The plates aren't mine to redistribute, so I don't think I can do that. But I certainly could put up the project files, and of course, I believe Ben finished up the cut down of our last big live stream series that we did. So that should be going up this week on the Patreon, and then later in the week on YouTube. But thank you guys so much for joining the stream today. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a little bit of a chill kind of Nuke live stream. I don't get to do too many of those all that often. Most of the time we're spending our time inside of Blender. So this was kind of a fun change of pace. But anyways, I'll see you guys next week. You know, make sure to join the Discord and share your stuff. I like to see your guys' stuff that you guys post in the work in progress tab, as well as everything else. But you guys have a good one. Stay cool. And do all the things that the cool people do, like make visual effects, right? Because that's what real cool people do. They do visual effects. They do cool things like that, where they get to make movies and do all the magic that everybody else wishes they can do. But they're just a bunch of losers and they don't know how to do visual effects. And that's the truth of it. So I'll see you guys next week with another live stream. Actually, no. Wait, pause. I don't think I am streaming next week. I think I'm out of town. So I might be missing next week. I'm going to try to see if I could pre-record a video at least to post onto the channel for next Sunday. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town. I won't be able to live stream. So there is that. But yeah. Thanks for joining. Hey, yo, Kaisedo, thanks for a good stream. I'll see you next time. That is true. I will see you next time. You better be there, okay? It's going to be good. It's going to be a good stream. All right. See you guys. Bye.